Wexley spills the tea. What kind of tea do we have this time, Wex?
All right, since this is the last ever, I guess, official Wex spills the tea, because the tea is going to be kind of like the main plot as we go heading into this new season. So officially, if you guys can see it on camera, wait, I have to hold it up closely. But the tea we're going to spill is I have the official, a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh my goodness! Are you cracking it open?
Well, no, I'm not going to crack it open. It's actually the action figure, a little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho championship set with the whole thing. So
you're poor. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I am poor, but we're going to go ahead and dedicate that to the final episode, Poor for Life,
Yeah, okay.
East Nashville original, not a hipster transplant. Nice. So
naturally,
let's go ahead and I guess get right into it. And as you said last week, pretty much right after we signed off, the wrestling world changed immediately, which is pretty much like par for the course for kayfabe comparisons. The next day we put out a news video, something crazy happens, but
yeah.
Officially, Vince McMahon announced his retirement. He officially found a scandal that he couldn't beat. So I'll go ahead and read out, as of today, January the 27th, at a preliminary investigation, a grand total of $14.6 million in payouts that have been found that should have been partially, in fact, noted as company funds. So there we go.
There it is. The company funds. There it is.
There it is. That's the thing you were talking about. Everybody was really talking about. That's the thing that would have got him. And the fucking publicly traded company, the company funds, finally got him. So what do you guys feel about that?
Spending my stock dollars on that trim, Vince. Come on now.
Not only are you defrauding investors, you're defrauding Mr. Know-It-All.
Right.
For you.
Me? Of all people? What's wrong with that man? My goodness. You know what?
Audacity.
All joking aside, I've been waiting a week. I've been thinking about this. I've been stewing about this. And I want to go ahead and put this out there, all right? I'm going to say this on the podcast, and I don't give a damn how this ages. And I don't want to edit this. I don't give a damn how this ages. I don't know Vince McMahon as a person, right? So I can't talk about him as a person. I'm not standing up for him as a person. What I can say, that because of his professional life, it has forever changed who I am as a human being, and I will be forever grateful. No matter what type of personal business he did that I don't condone, professionally, he's like the second most important person in my entire life. I mean, there's no way else to say that. So, I mean, it's been almost exactly 40 years. 1982 is when he took over from old Senior. I mean, 40 years, dude. Like, I mean, it's just, and in those 40, like, just, that's like, it's less than half a century. It's less than 50 years. And that dude, from 82 till now, what he's done with professional wrestling, every single fan of professional wrestling should thank him and revere him for the rest of their lives. That's how I feel about it.
Hey, I'll go ahead and say this right here. You always say separate the art from the artist because people are fucked.
Exactly.
But his art that he created, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, some of the people that changed our lives, like some of the people that are the reasons that we're doing this podcast right now. Because 100%. Without Stone Cold, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, like, would we be doing this?
Absolutely.
Even though Hulk Hogan, like, himself is a fucking piece of shit, but the character of Hulk Hogan?
Iconic. Yeah, Terry Bollea is not a person I would ever want to
fuck Terry, but Hulk Hogan, he's cool, but fuck Terry is all I'm saying. And Stone Cold, the character, great, but Steve Austin, even though he's maybe been a little bit better in his later life, he had some Deborah hitting shit going on. So all I'm saying, separate the art from the artist.
Deborah hitting shit, that's great. But you do have, I mean, look, I could not possibly be more thankful for the moments that I received and just that content and that entire deal. I remember the moment that I fell in love with professional wrestling, and without his vision and the idea of what he wanted to do, which was frowned upon, as we all know, it would have never existed. So I can't say enough good things about the amount of respect that I have for the dude professionally.
Yeah.
Personally, whatever. But
well, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. I mean, 14.2 million is a lot of money, But
14.6.
Okay, 14.6.
But he did have to forfeit 2.6 million's worth of his own personal stock too.
But
so
they did that to keep WWF afloat.
That would essentially be like giving me a $16 fine for like parking in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? Like $2.6 million is not a drop in the bucket of Vince McMahon.
Not at all.
So, I mean, out of all this, one thing we got to talk about, something that's basically, this has been what is happening now has been basically a dream scenario for wrestling fans going back to
at least 20 years.
No, I mean, not even 20 years, but like once we started getting these good takeovers and we were like, Triple H like knows what the fuck he's doing. We've been making the jokes for 20 years, but it really got serious once Triple H started like producing, like once NXT became the show to watch for WWE. Like literally before NXT 2.0, before the rebrand, like NXT was the WWE that I watched. It's what I paid attention to. It's what I cared about. It's because it was the good shit. It was the best stories, the best cards, simplistic but just fucking bangers. Like now Triple H is in charge officially, head of creative, head of talent relations. Do you think with time, because, you know, it's going to take time for the transition to fully happen, do you think it's going to get better?
I have to say that I think that it will. I mean, you're looking at the last bastion of folks that were under Vince's situation. And another thing that we have to touch on, it's fully expected that guys like Kevin Dunn are going to go ahead and step away from the company. So I think
hopefully, because I'm tired of these seizure camera cuts.
I just think it's an entire regime change, and it's about time. I think Vince is smart enough to know that too. And with all the rest of it that's going on, at some point in time, you have to know when it's time to step away. Not to mention the fact, like, obviously Netflix got the documentary, all of that other stuff, but, you know, what does Vince do next? And we touched on this a little bit off camera before everybody hopped on, but like, if Vince goes to Ric Flair's roast, if Vince appears for fucking Jim Crockett Promotions in 2022,
dude, there's no way.
I mean, Ric Flair said it on his podcast today. He said that he's about 90% sure that Vince McMahon's going to come to his roast.
Dude, what if Vince shows up to the after party?
Then you'll have a good time.
You'll have a great time.
That'll be fucking insane. Because I know people will be there, but I can see Vince just being like, "Fuck it, I'm retired. I'm partying."
Wexley, you got to make me a promise. If you see Vince McMahon at the after party, you have to try and go in for a double leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got a low center of gravity, Wex. You'll be all right. I think you could at least get him off his feet.
Figure it out. Be good.
I'll at least get a photo, but I don't know about a double leg. But we'll see.
Man, I mean, okay, so let's talk about that just for a minute then. Like, I mean, realistically, let's pretend that Vince McMahon wants to do something else. Let's fantasy book that. What does that really look like? I don't see him like showing up for AEW or anything. Like, I don't ever see him being a part of a competition thing ever. Like, I think it would all be under the umbrella of, like, you know, the WWE, whether it be like Stone Cold's podcast or whatever. But what I told Jesse is, like, I could totally see him doing like a tell-all type thing with, like, you know, how Corey Graves has that, like, After the Bell podcast. They just make it live and put it like as a network special or something, and just tell all the old stories in a controlled environment where he's not going to get sprung with any, you know, controversial questions. And I think that show alone could sell out an arena. I think Vince McMahon sitting in the ring and doing just an interview on like some director's chair with Corey Graves could sell out an arena. I absolutely believe that.
I do too. I wholeheartedly concur. And I think that it's something that should happen, for fuck's sake. I mean,
it would be amazing. Let's
let him get his flowers, man. Like, it's not as though it's not noted that his work ethic is next to none. I mean, like, dude doesn't sleep. Yeah.
I feel like the WWE is going to find a way to at least get a hold partially of the Netflix footage that, I mean, eventually that documentary is coming out. Like, whether it's through Netflix or through WWE Network when Peacock deal runs out and they go back to their own solo thing or whatever. Because I do 100% think that's going to happen, by the way. But that's a totally different podcast.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but WWE was a co-producer on that documentary, right?
Right.
So obviously they have rights to some of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think that they fill in the gaps and release it themselves, and they should. It's tons of money there for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, and as far as the Triple H regime goes, I'm hyped. I'm super hype about it. I mean, I know that the plan right now is like they're just running with everything the way it is until after SummerSlam. But guys, I'm gonna tune into Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. Like, there's no doubt about it. I will be watching Monday Night Raw that Monday to see what happens.
Hey, well, there may be a possible opportunity this weekend for Triple H's, creative control and new head of the table, as we may say. But Riddle and Seth Rollins has been canceled for SummerSlam. They said Riddle's pulled because he had an injury, but turns out it's not even really an injury. It's a kayfabe reason. And they've canceled the match, which I don't know if it's Triple H, flexing his muscles already and getting in there. But Seth Rollins actually tweeted right before we started about how, like, everyone who paid tickets to come see me at SummerSlam, I've worked really hard for this spot. It's been, 6 months to get this spot. I hope someone hears me. And Triple H replied, I hear you. So I think maybe we might get a Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent, possible Triple H mega booking surprise for this Saturday.
It's Gargano.
I think
Johnny wrestling versus Seth, dude, give it to me.
I think Seth Rollins is absolutely appearing on the show.
Oh, no doubt.
You also have to say, like, I've done all this. I hope someone sees me. You're talking about a 4-time world champion.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
like,
he's Triple H, and dude, he's a Triple H guy, 100%.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah. He's the OG NXT champion. I mean, and that's the thing,
I'd love
too.
to see
Triple
him
H being Vince, HBK being old Triple H, and, like, Stephanie running the show.
My knee jerk was, I figured
I'm so happy. I'm happy.
I think it might be Seth and Ciampa.
I'm fine with that.
Dude, that would be amazing. Dude, either way it goes, I hope to see this new Triple H shit be great because I'd love to be just as hyped to watch wrestling on Monday nights and Friday nights as I am on Wednesday and Friday nights, I guess. I'd love to have two companies to, like, be just as excited about for each other. And it's not like I want WWE to be bad and I hate WWE. It's just they've been trash. Just like back like 2010, 2011 era, they were kind of trash. Like they get, We
can also touch base on the fact that obviously the pay-per-view that we're about to talk about was one of the best things that Tony Khan's put on so far. And to be honest, Triple H's regime in NXT basically took most of Ring of Honor's top talent in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And Triple H, because Triple H knows he's not like Vince McMahon. He understands pro wrestling because he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
So there we go. So speaking of Ring of Honor, as we're going to get into the pay-per-view, the first match of the card, as we'll talk about with Jonathan Gresham. So apparently before the pay-per-view took place, he asked for his release, got mad, cussed Tony Khan out, and went wild. And I really don't know what to think of this, and I think it might have been because of creative or some other things, but, like, come on now. Like, you can't realistically think, like, I'm, like, the same height as Jonathan Gresham. He's just bulked up. Like, come on now. Like, you realistically think, like, Claudio versus you, like, Claudio's not going to go over. I know people are like, oh, he's an ex-WWE guy. Tony Khan loves him, but he's really, like, a foundation original, not no pun intended, foundation ROH original guy. So come on now.
I mean, I was going back and watching my Adam Cole DVD the other day, and when, like, All Night Express and all those other tag team matches against Red Dragon and against everybody else, I mean, like, Ring of Honor is synonymous with Claudio.
Yes, he's the guy, dude, the kings of pro wrestling. Him and fucking Chris Hero, dude.
Absolutely fucking great. And I gotta say that the size disparity in the opening match was one of the. It was so fucking noticeable. And I don't know if Gresham was mad because they started the show, but I thought that was a great beat and made sense. I mean, like,
dude, main event or the first match means, like, those are the two top matches of a card. So, like, if you're mad that
John Cena haven't started a fucking show before for a championship,
dude, and if you're mad that you're not going before FTR versus the Briscoes too, like, dude, get over yourself.
45-minute long main event.
Get over yourself, dude. Like, I know it's
shocked,
like,
but I feel like we're both. I mean, I feel like we're all kind of on the same page. I mean, to be totally honest with you, man, I feel like Jonathan Gresham is a absolute beast in the ring. He's a great technician.
But, like, get over yourself.
But I'm gonna say this now, like, he's the 2022 Dean Malenko. Like, that's who he is. He's a great wrestler, 100%. But he has got the personality of a cardboard box. Like, I like. There's nothing about Jonathan Gresham. That is,
dude, Daniel, that's
special.
like literally one of the best comparisons I've ever heard. The 2022 Dean Malenko.
That's what he is, and he's a great wrestler.
Exactly.
Anybody you put him in the ring with, I want to see it. It's gonna be great. I'm
go to
gonna
New
love
Japan.
It.
That's where he needs to go.
But you put a mic in front of him, and I'm going straight to sleep. I mean,
exactly. Go to New Japan where you don't need to talk. Go to the best of the Super Juniors division and just murk people. Like
they are, yes. And so, like, listen, I can understand that you being upset. Like, I get it. Like, what I'm saying is I'm not trying to devalue him. Like, he is phenomenal. But to act like you are a main event guy when we all know you are not a main event guy.
And you were the world champion for over 300 days.
You were world champion because of a transitional situation. Like, it was not, to be totally honest, he would have never, if that company had kept going, he may have won it for a cup of coffee and like a series, but he would have never been a long-standing Ring of Honor
Honestly,
champion.
I thought that Bandito was gonna win in that like unification match, but then they probably just gave it to him like, oh, this will be cool because it's But honestly, Bandito's better than Jonathan Gresham. I like Jonathan Gresham, but Bandito's fucking sick. Bandito's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. I mean, listen, I hope he lands on his feet. Because I can tell you right now, like, that was a mistake. Him asking for his release. He could have
went back to the pure division, took the title off of Wheeler Yuta, and been the pure guy again. But he had to. I don't know. He had to get gassed up. Somebody gassed him up.
Yeah, there's the other thing you got to think about. Where does that dude go?
Oh, he goes to Impact. No doubt.
Impact, of course. That's exactly.
Yeah, but what the fuck does that mean for anybody anymore?
They're just going to run with him and Josh Alexander for a while. And a lot of, like, the matches are going to be great, and I'm going to give no shits about that story.
That sounds like some good shit.
It's going to be a great match, but I'm not going to care at all about the story.
Selling pay-per-views.
There's not going to be any drama in that. There's no
Jonathan
story.
Gresham, if you're listening to this, I'm going to be watching you this Sunday at Ric Flair's final match in that 4-way. Go to New Japan. That'd be
great.
That is literally, you just fit in there like a glove, but keep getting pissed if you want.
Find a gimmick.
I feel you. I'm short.
Like,
I want to hold it down for the short kings out here, but
find a character, man. Like that would be my only advice. Like, I feel like Jonathan Gresham, your wrestling does it, but your personality does not. Find a character. Do something else. Maybe put a hood on.
When you're short, you got to do something extra.
Got to do something extra.
Just a little bit.
What else we got in the tea, Wexley?
I mean, only other thing is that kind of related to this, Tully Blanchard Enterprises just basically disappeared and got bought out by Prince Nana, OG Ring of Honor manager and wrestler, and they brought back the Embassy stable. So Tully Blanchard Enterprises basically effectively is just gone, and it kind of doesn't really make any sense. And Brian Cage, who was a part of both factions, I guess, was kind of poking fun at it. He posted a picture of him wearing the shirt and was like, Here today, gone tomorrow. That's wrestling.
If any wrestler on this card has a gripe with Tony Khan about how they've been booked and creative, it is 1,000% Brian Cage. It is 1,000% Brian Cage.
Yeah, so, and I get where he's coming from, and maybe once they get this shit going in the right direction, now they have, I guess, how they're going with the faction. Maybe they can book Brian Cage to, like, take out Samoa Joe, world television champion. Perfect. I think that'd be great.
Brian Cage versus Claudio, I think is great. That's a great feud.
I mean, Cage is great, and Tony Khan has said he loves Cage. Like,
I would really like
great
to see,
wrestler.
I really want to know where the lines are going to be. I want to find the definitive line between AEW and Ring of Honor and stick with it. We need to make that happen somehow.
I don't think that's going to happen until Tony Khan secures that TV deal, and once that happens, maybe we'll get more of a definitive line.
I agree, because that's the only way to sell pay-per-views. I agree. But when they announce the TV deal, I need to see a very massive separation of rosters. And I'm going to say this right now. I think Ring of Honor needs to take Blackpool Combat Club with them. The whole thing. Except for Moxley. They need to find a way to keep him in AEW. He's an AEW guy. Like, he's a WWE. He's an entertainer more than he is a wrestler. I know that he's got his ends with William Regal and all that. But, I mean, come on, dude. Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. Which one of these is not like the other?
I mean, really, Gresham could have been that other guy. If Moxley left, he could have been in there. But
what I'm saying is the Combat Club just needs to go. Have Bryan Danielson win the TV title, or and have Wheeler Yuta have the pure, have Claudio have the world, and maybe even just get like Chris Statlander or something over there in there, and just have her win the women. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe just move a woman into that like Moxley role and do that for Ring of Honor. I think that would be dope.
Even though I know she's not that good yet, but if she gets better, Marina Shafir would fit better in that role with the whole MMA gimmick,
agreed.
but
1,000% agreed.